Hello friends and welcome back to the Bald Booktuber. Thank you for spending some time with me. Today we are going to do my January wrap-up and my February TBR, so let's get to work. In January I read 7 books. I will have read 7 books by the end of today. I'm finishing up one last one today. For me, I consider reading, listening, or doing it immersively where you read and listen at the same time to be reading, so I'll use those terms interchangeably, so there you go. In the event that I either listened to it or I did it immersively, we'll talk not only about the book itself, but also about the narration. We're going to do things on a scale of Stanley nods, with 1 being terrible and 5 being the best, or highly enjoyable, as it were. So it'll match Goodreads ratings, but just with Stanley nodding, Stanley from The Office. So that's how we'll do it. And I'll start from least favorite and we'll go to favorite, which is my book of the month for January. Once we've done those things, we'll go ahead and do the February TBR. So you have that to look forward to and see what I'm looking forward to next month. Okay, so we're going to get it started off with Rage of Dragons. This is book 1 of The Burning by Evan Winter. I had high hopes for this one. I really thought it had a good chance to be not only one of my favorite books, one of my favorite series. Coming out of that prologue, I was amazed. I thought it was great. But then that second part just dragged terribly for me and really drug the book down as a consequence of that. So there's only so many training montages I can handle in it, and it's at some point eclipsed the amount that I can comfortably handle. So overall, I still liked it. I just didn't love it. Obviously, I didn't hate it. I liked it. It did enough to where I will continue with the series. Fires of Vengeance is not on my immediate plans, but I'll be doing it at some point. In terms of the narration, that is extremely good. The narrator for this is a gentleman named Prentice Onayami. I hope I'm pronouncing that somewhat correctly. He was exceptional. He added so much to the story. Highly encouraged the audio. Very, very good. So moving on, we have a book with a mouthful of a name. This was a audio-only advanced reader copy that I received off of NetGalley. I requested and received it. My full review is up on Goodreads. The name of the book is Imaginable: How to See the Future Coming and Feel Ready for Anything, Even Things That Seem Impossible Today. That is a long title and subtitle. The author is Jane McGonigal. She also does the narration. It was interesting. Her profession is that she is a futurist, it's called, and a game designer. So as a futurist, her responsibility is to look at what the world will look like 10 years out. And so there's a lot of stress about in the book about how to be looking for things that can happen, will happen. How do we become more empathetic to others as a consequence of some of these things that may change, that kind of stuff. A lot of good stuff in the book. Ultimately, I didn't love it, but I thought it was useful. I thought it was good. That's 3 Stanley nods. In terms of the narration, she shouldn't have narrated her own book. It wasn't good. So she should have paid someone to do that part of it. That would have made things infinitely better. I'm certain she's very talented. She is a good writer, I felt, but not a good narrator. So moving on, everything from here on out I at least highly enjoyed. So everything here on out is 4 or 5. So that starts off with The Gunslinger, book 1 of the Dark Tower series by obviously Stephen King. I've been wanting to do this series for a long time. Finally decided this year that I'm going to lead a read-along to get it done. So we had our first book in the read-along over on Mike's channel. We do 1 book a month, the 19th of every month. 19th is an important number in the King multiverse, so that's what I went with. Really, really enjoyed it, and I think I will love it even more if and when I do a reread later on and know what the entire series entails. Um, really fascinating. Loved chapter 5 in particular. It got so philosophical, which is right up my alley. Super cool stuff. Highly encouraged, highly enjoyed. The audio, at least my version of the audio, was done by George Goodell, and he did a really good job. So would encourage the audiobook as well. I know Frank Muller does a version too that I'm told is even better. So can't go wrong. Highly encouraged. 4 Stanley Knots. We move on to another advanced reader copy that I also received off of NetGalley. This also was an audio, and this is called 7 Games, A Human History by Oliver Roeder. So this is a book, kind of a journalistic book about chess, checkers, backgammon, bridge, Go, Scrabble, and one more that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head, but poker. Yeah, poker. So it takes a look at each of these games, their histories. It takes a look at especially the AI that's going into a lot of the analysis of these games and trying to solve them. As someone who is super into all of that stuff, I really love this. As I said in my Goodreads review, you have to be the right type of person to really like this, and I am that person. I am a hardcore chess fan, as we'll find out more about. This one for sure gets the 5 Stanley nods. This is really, really good, especially if you're into any of these games individually, if you're into game theory, if you're into neural networks, artificial intelligence, any of that kind of stuff, you'll be right at home. Good stuff. Next up, we have The Willful Princess and the Piebald Prince by Robin Hobb. With this one, I had been away from Hobb for a couple months, which is too long. If you don't know already, she is my very favorite author on the face of the planet. I read all of Realm of the Elderlings last year, and this is the sort of prequel to everything that happens in Realm of the Elderlings. If you're aware of the story at all, you know that the wit is a specific type of beast magic that Fitz has. It is despised, it is loathed, it is seen as shameful, and this story is about the origin of why all of that is. It's fantastic. It's a novella, it's very, very short, quick, easy read, easy 5 Stanley Knots. Fantastic book. And then we move on to my favorite book of the month. This is something that, again, I've wanted to do for a long time. Again, it's part of a read-along on Mike's channel. This is The Dragonbone Chair, Book 1 of Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn by Tad Williams. Absolutely phenomenal. More to come on this one. Let's just say that some of these characters are some of my favorites I've ever read. Benebik in particular is amazing. I love that guy. Dr. Morgani's fantastic. I'm not 100% sold on Simon yet, but I'm 100% certain that I will be. It's very clear why George and Brian Lee Durfee and others absolutely love Tad Williams and have had him as a huge inspiration over time. This is amazing. Can't wait to get to book 2. The narration for it is absolutely phenomenal. Andrew Wincott is unbelievable. So if you like audio, you will love his narration. And then the book that I'm in the middle of right now that I'll finish today, it's got about an hour left on audio. I picked this one off of Scribd or Scribed, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a service that lets you obviously grab audiobooks or ebooks or those kind of things for, free as part of a subscription. And this is another chess themed one. Chess is my game. That's what I love to play. That's what I love to study, to think about. It's probably my biggest hobby besides books. And this is called The Grandmaster, Magnus Carlsen and the Match That Made Chess Great Again. This is by a gentleman named Bryn Jonathan Butler, and it's narrated by a gentleman named Jacques Roy. I'm doing the audio. Really, really good. It talks about the match in, I think it's 2016. Yeah, it's 2016, between Carlsen and Sergei Karyakin, who is one of the strongest players in the world. Magnus has been the best player in the world for more than a decade now, world champion for more than a decade. So this was one of his title defenses. At the time, Karyakin was the youngest person ever to become a grandmaster. So this talks about not only their match, but just chess history. A lot of talk about the link between chess players and mental illness, which was somewhat fascinating. I have maybe 3 chapters to go. I'm confident this will be at least 4 Stanley nods. Really enjoying it. It's interesting. The author himself doesn't know much about the game of chess, and you can tell that. So he's regurgitating what other people told him to say about certain things in the match and that kind of stuff. But in some ways, that's maybe good because he asks questions that others would find obvious or whatnot, and he can relay it in a way that you don't have to understand chess to understand what's going on. So really enjoying it. I think it's going to end up well, so that's good. I did have one unfinished book in the month that I probably am not going to go back to anytime soon. So this is book 1 of The Wars of Light and Shadow by Janie Wirtz. This is The Curse of the Mistwraith. It's not the fault of the book. I just was not in the mood. I had it in mind that I was going to read this entire series this year. I don't know if that's going to happen anymore. I just was not super invested in what was going on just yet. I hope to get back to it at some point, but it's not in the immediate plans, as you'll see. So in terms of stats for the month, that gives us, it'll be 7 books read, 2,421 pages. That's an average of 346 pages per book, which isn't a lot in terms of an average of pages. I'm sure future months are going to be more. I just happened to read some shorter books this month, so that's how that goes. An average of 4 Stanley nods, so a good reading month. I can't complain. When we move on to what I will be reading, which I know is more interesting to most people than what I have already read, we're going to start the month off tomorrow with The Stone of Farewell. This is book 2 of Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, again by Tad Williams. Can't wait to get going on this. If I like it even half as much as I like the first one, I'm going to be in for a good time. So should be really fun. We're going to follow that up with The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. This is another one I applied for the ARC, through NetGalley and received it. So that book releases on the 22nd. So my hope is to have my review done prior to that on Goodreads. After we get those 2 done, it'll be time for the drawing of the 3. This is book 2 of Dark Tower. And I am way invested in this series. So I am hoping that this will take it to a new level for me and get me even more excited. I'm certain that it will. I have big expectations that this is going to be very enjoyable. After we do that, I'm going to jump into my very first ever Guy Gabriel Kay novel. This is an author I've been wanting to read for a long time. I'm told that he is just as good, if not better, at writing prose as Robin Hobb. And I won't believe that until I see it, so I need to check it out. We're going to start with his first published novel, because we do publication only on this channel. Publication order always. So this is going to be The Summer Tree, book 1 of the Fiennavar Tapestry. My understanding is that my boy Simon Vance does the narration, so that even makes it more exciting. So I'll definitely immersively read that. Rearing and ready to go on that one. And then we'll probably finish up the month with books 3 and 4 of Michael J. Sullivan's Rhyria Revelations. So those are going to be Nephron Rising, and the Emerald Storm. So as a packaged bind up, it was released as the Rise of Empire. I'm going to count it as 2 books, even though I'm going to read it as 1 book probably. But it'll be those 2. And then if time allows, and it probably won't, with as slow as I read and with February being a short month, I did pick up on Kindle Unlimited several Robert McCammon novels. I read Swan Song and Boy's Life in December. Loved both books, both 5 Stanley Nod books. And these are his first 4 published novels. So I am very excited to check out more McCammon. So if time allows, I'll check those out at the very, very end of the month. But the other stuff obviously is taking precedence, especially the ones that are arcs and are read-alongs. So those will be the ones that I'll do first. So I hope to hear what everyone else has read, is reading. Any recommendations for me would be welcome. If you are enjoying the channel, please like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you can be notified when I put out a new video. And I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. Thanks so much for watching.